Of all the critical parts on a boat, one that is quite often overlooked and is probably overlooked the most is the bilge pump. You know, every time we go fishing, we just expect it to work every single time we get out on the water, but that simply just isn't the case. Everything has a lifespan, especially when water is involved with electrical. There's a lot that can go wrong, there's a lot that can corrode, and today I'm gonna walk you guys through simple things you can do throughout the season to maintain and extend the life on your bilge pump, which is super important. I mean, a bilge pump pumps out all the water that gets in your boat that shouldn't be in there. So we're gonna go to the back of the boat. I'm gonna show you just how easy it is. So the bilge pump, it varies from boat to boat, but typically it's gonna be at the back of your boat, at the very bottom, at the bottom of the hull. It's gonna be right close to your drain plug. And before I do anything, before I even start taking the bilge pump out, first thing I'll look for is to make sure all the wiring's not corroded. You know, again, there's constantly water being pushed in the back of here, coming over the back of the boat, and that's the whole point of the bilge pump, is to get water out that should not be in there. So it's constantly wet back here, and you know, when it comes to moisture and electrical, things do corrode. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just look at all the wires, make sure nothing's corroded, nothing's detached, and everything's looking good and intact. We've checked the fuse, we've checked the wiring, everything else, the connections, nothing's corroded, the fuse isn't popped, everything looks good. So now what we're gonna do is take the bilge pump out. Usually it'll just pop right out. You have like two little pieces of plastic on each side, and usually what I'll do is I'll get two flatheads or just my fingers and pop it open, and that'll allow you to pull the bilge pump right out. If it doesn't pull out right away, try turning counterclockwise, then pulling up. Detach the black hose from the bilge pump, and you can actually pull the bilge pump right out of the hull. And you're gonna look for any debris, any fishing line, any soft plastics. You'd be surprised the things that get caught in your bilge pump. Almost every time I check my bilge pump, there's something jammed in there, and that's why we check every few months, to make sure it doesn't get so clogged to the point where it doesn't work at all. Once you've cleaned it and everything looks good, one thing to also look for and double check is make sure the impeller isn't cracked. Also make sure the shaft of the impeller isn't bent. And if that all looks good, before I put the bilge back in the bottom of the boat, I'll put under, you know, a tap or under the hose for about 15-20 seconds, spin the impeller, make sure it takes out any other debris you might not see. Again, this is something that is super simple to maintain throughout the season. Do it a couple times a year. It takes 10 minutes and it's super overlooked. But in my opinion, it's one of the most important things when it comes to safety. If water comes overboard, you want a working bilge pump. So again, take the time, inspect your bilge pump, make sure it's working properly. Good luck out on the water, guys, whether you're fishing, tubing with family and friends, enjoying a weekend at the cottage, whatever it may be. Have fun, stay safe, and always remember to wear a kill switch.